What's cracking, everybody? Rose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content in this Summer Cup. This horrible there's a love-hate relationship with this meta. I think it's great, but I hate it at the same time, right? Something about getting RPS all day just makes you feel bad. But I finally found myself a team after going on a horrible tanking spree over the last 2 weeks with Hisui Cup and also this beginning of the Summer Cup. I finally found my footing with this fantastic team featuring King-dra on the lead and Ariados on the back and the Vigoroth save swap, because I mean I tried for so long just not to play Vigoroth because I felt like it was too obvious, but honestly you just got to use it. It's too good not to use. So in this Summer Cup, this is my favorite team. And just real quick, shout out to my patron supporters. You guys are the best. If you want to join the group, get early access to all this fun stuff, the teams, the tips, everything else that I could possibly think of for Go Battle League and PvP. Link in the description for that. And if you're looking for some coaching, I'm on Netify. And Ned also thinks you should go check that out, because good way to get better at the game for just absolute certainty. So let's get right into the battles here. Maggie's probably going to be helping me with the shoutcast. She's a very talkative little one today, so she'll be chiming in, I'm sure. So let's get into this battle here. We've got Kingdra on the lead versus a Noctowl. So this is a pretty neutral lead, and I'm screaming internally too when I see this, because I know I can't really do much, but I have to swap in my Noctowl. Now my opponent swaps in their Vigoroth, and that is a mistake by my opponent, because if you're not aware, you cannot swap in. It's just like the Sableye matchup. You can't swap into Vigoroth to the mirror and expect to win switch. So now that I know I can guarantee switch, I will still need to line my Kingdra to the Noctowl, but at least now I'm getting rid of, I mean, that's not even really a hard counter to my Ariados. This just happens to be something on the team that could play against me. So but that's their best response to essentially the rest of me. So I'm kind of hoping here that maybe they're playing that triple normal team that I've heard so much about, and maybe they got an Obstagoon in the back, because I did play these games right after the Obstagoon Community Day, and everybody seems to want to try out their shiny new Obstagoon. So I took full advantage of that, came into the Summer Cup, and I honestly, this team it did me very well. I mean, I know I'm stuck down in the 24-2500 range, but honestly, I've seen so many previous legends down here that I don't even feel bad about it. So Kingdra's going to come in and honestly put this Kingdra in, or put this Noctowl down in a range where it can be farmed down. And that's, I mean, essentially that's what I'm going to try to do here. I'm going to try and just tank a move, you know, shield up this next Sky Attack or Shadow Ball, because I kind of have to if I want to keep my Kingdra alive. And I'm going to just try and farm this thing down and shoot a move at whatever comes in next. And considering that it's probably, there's the Obstagoon, so we're going to just throw this Outrage right at the Obstagoon. They don't have any shields left. And once again, I have forgotten to grab my button here. So, kaboom! Indeed, yes, Obstagoon gets clammed, whatever you want to use, gets absolutely demolished by that Outrage, and then we've got Ariados to come in and clean up the remainder of this thing, and this is what we're gonna get. You know what? Just because I found the button. Here it is. I always seem to forget to bring it up before I start these videos. But anyway, very well played to my opponent, though. Triple Normal is a very strong team, but the Ariados was just, I brought it in because I'm like, you know what? Kingdra seems really strong right now, and Ariados is a perfect core to it. It just kind of lacks the supreme fighting coverage. But my opponent here counter swaps my Vigoroth with their own Beedrill, so they were definitely ready. So gonna just bring in the Vigoroth here and just go for as much body slam pressure as I can. No need to go for bulldoze here, and I can let this go. Even if I don't live this, it's fine, because it means that my opponent is dry on energy, but I go ahead and shield it anyway. I'm going to try and put some pressure on that second shield, and I want to see if I can outpace my opponent to the next move. And since they just threw 2 drill runs, I think they might be close, but I actually realized that they could probably throw an X-Scissor, and I'm not thinking that an X-Scissor is going to KO me from here, but I could be very wrong about that. But now it's in a perfect farm range, and I forced them to throw their energy. 1 shield apiece, drill run comes through, takes out Vigoroth, and now my Kingdra is going to come in and should be able to farm down this Beedrill before I can get to another move, which it does. Which is ideal for Kingdra, is to get some free farm here, because now I can throw an Outrage at this Obstagoon. I don't throw Octazooka as much here unless I feel like I need to, or it would do super effective damage. Because honestly, what am I going to do? Get a debuff and then they just swap out and clear it anyway. So I would rather throw the Outrage here and see if I can make Ariados do some magic. Not many people are probably planning for Ariados, so I'm hoping that, ooh, the Outrage lands. And then they counter me with a freaking Noctowl, and this is not looking good for me at all. Noctowl was not what I expected to have back there with a Beedrill. I was expecting possibly another poison type, maybe a Venusaur, but not a Noctowl. So all I can do here is I can go straight for the cross poisons and just hope that, you know, hope that I can get this thing low enough with a shield and being able to outpace it by so much that I'm going to be able to get it low enough. Maybe I can get my Kingdra to farm it down before it gets to a move and takes it out. But it's not looking good for me. This is kind of looking like an end game, but I'm going to keep trying here. We're going to keep throwing cross poisons and just hope for the best. I'm hoping maybe I get a boost here, you know, if anything, and maybe that will allow me to get this thing down into a range where the next cross poison would take it out. But my opponent is going to be able to get to another Sky Attack. And my Kingdra is unfortunately at a range where it will not be able to farm the Noctowl down before they can get to another move. So that is looking to be a good game. Very well played to my opponent. But wait, they go down, but I only have a little bit of HP, and they are not going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to get another Dragon Breath through. So good game, very close game. Well played to my opponent there. Yeah, me too. Almost got him, but maybe next time. Talonflame, you'll love to see it. Couldn't ask for a better lead. Opponent swaps in a Swampert, and I'm actually staying in here. And it's probably a mistake on my part, but you know what? It's fine. So actually what I'm doing here is I was going to get the farm here for my Kingdra. If I CMP here, I'm going to swap out afterwards. I'm going to go for the Octazooka. I just want a shield, but at this point, now what I'm going to do is I've already committed a shield to this Kingdra. I kind of have to either stay in and farm it down, or I have to come with my Vigoroth. In this particular case, I recognize that I can Dragon Breath it down before it can get to a Hydro, get to really any move, and then I just stay in and I farm down the Swampert. The reason being is that, yes, Swampert is a problem for Vigoroth because of the fact that those Hydro Cannons hit a lot harder than Vigoroth's Body Slam. So I'm going to save swap in my Vigoroth here, knowing that I have a hard counter to the Talonflame and back still in my Kingdra, which still has plenty of HP to deal with it. And I've also still got a shield. So they're going to bring in the Talonflame now, and I'm going to try and throw these Body Slams with the best timing that I possibly can. And Maggie, you are absolutely adorable. What are you What are you singing? Are you singing about something fun? Me too, man. She's so cute. Talonflame is going to be able to put some pressure on me, but I'm not going to bother shielding. I have alignment right where I need it right now, knowing that they have a Zoomerl here, and I have a Kingdra to take out this Talonflame. I'm going to throw right at the end of their Incinerate to try and get this Octazooka off. I want to shield, but I'm going to see if my opponent bothers or not. They don't shield, and that means my Ariados is getting locked in right up against the Razu, and unless they're running... Yeah? Unless they're running Hydro Pump, this is a good game. My opponent doesn't even bother shielding it because they know it's just a cross poison, but at this point I can almost shield once I farm them down with the amount of HP they got left. I no shield this, thinking if it's a play rough or an Ice Beam, I'm good, and my opponent does quit the game at that point. I call their bluff. If they had thrown a Hydro Pump, that would have been a problem, but thankfully I don't think they built up to one. So gonna be able to get a Stunfisk lead here with my Kingdra. This is kind of a weird one because, like, it's not great for Vigoroth, it's not great for Kingdra, but it's really not great for Ariados. Now, the reason why I safe swap here is just to try and get them to draw something out, try and see if I can waste something in the back, you know, just try and get some sort of an advantage here. But they come in with Swampert. Now, I've got a huge energy advantage on them, which is going to give me an edge here, because it's going, even though I'm down a shield, I didn't. I tanked that move. So even though I've got the two shields, this is going to allow me to outpace the Swampert to the first few moves here and start getting shields from them, which we've started to do. Hydro Cannon comes through, but I've already got another Body Slam. I'm loaded on CMP. My opponent is going to be able to get to a Hydro Cannon before my next Body Slam because it only needs 4 to get to the next one. So I'm going to let this next one go here, most likely. I might go for Switch here. Do I go for Switch? I can't remember. Nope, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to farm down with Kingdra. And the reason why is because what am I going to gain from coming in to that matchup with a lot of energy and no HP? They're probably just throw a move and take me out. So I'd rather just save it, get some farm on Kingdra, because I know that Kingdra can do super effective damage with an Octazooka. And Octazooka is going to do plenty of damage. I hope you're not being too loud. But they have a Wall Rain in the back, which is really not good for me. So now I don't really have a good alignment, so I'm just going to do my absolute best to try and either bait a shield or something here. I got to do something here. I'm going to go straight for the Outrage and hope that maybe they try and call a bluff. Maybe they think I'm going to throw the Octazooka. Let's see if my opponent decides to shield it. They do. Very good shield on my opponent, but now I have a shield up against this Wall Rain, and I'm going to be able to get to a lunge. I have to lunge it, obviously. but I'm expecting them now to swap in their G-Fist, or they're not their G-Fist, their regular Stunfisk. It's a regular Stunfisk, but now I'm so far ahead on energy that I'm going to be able to get a couple lunges off and really severely gimp the attack of this Stunfisk, which is going to allow me to get to another couple lunges here before even thinking about going down. And on the CMP, we throw another lunge, which is really ideal. Now they're double debuffed on their attack stat, and then the lunges are taking them out. So all I need to do here now is trying to farm up to a couple of charge moves, have a lunge ready to go for when that wall rain comes back in, and I should be good here. So I am going to over farm by as much as I can. I will take one more move because I have to, but I need to be ready for the Kingdra, or be ready for the wall rain to swap in on a moment's notice here, because it very well may. So I'm very desperately looking for a catch here, and they don't go for it. So instead I'm going to go for the lunge, knowing that I can go for a lunge and a cross poison right here, or I can go straight for another lunge because I didn't see them build up to an entire move here. But I do swap out just in case, because I thought that they had a move loaded, but they don't. And now they have to throw energy, otherwise I'm going to farm them down. So they have an Icicle Spear here. Now the question is, are they going to be able to get to another Icicle Spear before I get to a lunge? And the answer is no. My opponent did not have the energy ready. They are scared of the energy that my Kingdra might have had, and that is going to be it. That is a good game. Very well played, very close, much closer than it felt. So we got the next battle here, Abomasnow into Kingdra. This is really not ideal for my Kingdra, but it's really good for my backline. So I'm going to safe swap into my Vigoroth here right away. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to try and make something work. Now, Talonflame into Vigoroth is not as bad as it seems, because these body slams do a lot of work. And so you're going to see how much damage a body slam does. So I think it's like 35-40% with this Talonflame here. And that's going to be enough to make it really dangerous for Talonflame to try and play this out. So I will be able to take this up to 2 shields here with my opponent. I go 1-2, throw the body slam. Now I have to throw after 2, otherwise they get a whole other incinerate through. So I am going to have to put my second shield down if I want to win this matchup, and I kind of need to here, because I really don't want my Abomasnow up against this Kingdra. But I can also farm down with my Kingdra if I want to. Now, yes, you're so cute. What are you doing, you silly girl? You're so cute. But I do have to let this, I do have to shield up and try and get this Talonflame out of here, because even though I could farm down with Kingdra, like, they still have a shield. So it really doesn't help my case if they still have a shield. But I'm going to go ahead and throw with just enough timing here to get this Talonflame out of here right before they would get to another charge move. And I'm going to be able to get a few good counters off of on this Abomasnow, because Powder Snow really doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Plus I'm able to get to a body slam. This is how powerful Vigoroth is, ladies and gentlemen, on the safe swap, is if you can tank if you can tank a little bit of damage coming in. Look at that. Vigoroth by itself took out 2 Pokemon all on its own, basically. Like, the thing is insane. And where are you going? You can't leave. You gotta stay here. All on its own. It's just, that's how powerful Vigoroth is. Even if you 2-shield and you leave yourself with some energy and a little bit of health, that's all that matters. So I go for the Octazooki here because I know they're about to get to a Hurricane. So I go for the debuff, hoping for it, and I do get the debuff. So they go for the Hurricane here. They have no reason to go for Weather Ball whatsoever. But now Ariados is healthy enough. And they go for Blizzard, dude! If that wasn't debuff, that would have hurt. So they're not even running Hurricane, they're running Blizzard, which is honestly not a terrible idea. But they are low enough where I'm just going to be able to farm down. Kingdra takes that game. Ariados really doesn't need to do anything. So coming into a next set here, only had enough time for a couple sets yesterday when I played these games, but a Swampertly is ideal here. And this is where the Obstagoons come in. So they're going to safe swap in their Wall Rain, and I had to include this game. This Wall Rain matchup is not bad as long as you don't let them get out of hand. Now, if your opponent is throwing their energy on the charge move every time, like this person, with this, and it's still a good move. You still, like, Wall Rain outpaces, but in the 2 shields, Vigoroth is going to be able to counter this thing down. So I am throwing on CMP with every single body slam that I can to try and pressure my opponent into shielding, to try and prevent them from getting any extra energy, because it's when you let the Wall Rain get extra energy, that is where things get dangerous. Excuse me, dangerous and dicey. So throwing the body slam here, able to get to this move here, and now the Wall Rain has to make a choice. Do they decide? They decided to shield, but they throw the energy, which now means I'm going to be able to counter them down. But the opponent comes in here really quickly on a swap, and I just as quickly come in with my Kingdra. There are no shields left in this game, and the opponent goes right for a Hydro Cannon, which is very strange to me. I'm not really sure why they did that. Typically, you'll want to be going for the charge move, being the Sludge Wave, or you want to go for the Earthquake. So you are very energetic today, little girl. Yes, you are. So I go straight for the outrage right before they would get to the sludge wave. The opponent probably could have done a little bit better in that game had they gone straight for an earthquake or a sludge wave, but I would have been able to get to a Noctizuka, I believe, before that happened. So I go for Noctizuka here because this is their last Pokemon, and I just want to try and debuff it because that's all they got left. They have no shields. There's no point going for the outrage here because I figured they could just take me out whenever they wanted. So I want to force them to throw energy because I could, if I wanted to, get to an outrage here. But anyway, so they're going to throw the Power Whip here, and I'm going to come in with my Ariados, hoping that they are not running Thunder. And even if they are running Thunder, it's still not going to be able to one-shot me, so they're going to need at least 2 Thunders. And you know what? I'm just going to go for lunges here. There's no reason to go for Cross Poison. Thunder does do a fairly respectable amount of damage, but the lunges are going to add up, and the Thunder is not going to do that much damage next time with a lunge debuff. And I can easily come in with my Vigoroth here, and here's what I'm going to do. I counted this Walreign's energy. I throw on CMP one more time to prevent them from getting an Icicle Spear off, and that is going to seal it at this point. This Walreign is going to go down, and so is the Ferrothorn. Good game, well played to my opponent. That's it. That Vigoroth was just, it was... I was on top of my game on that one game for some, I don't know. But here we got another Talonflame lead, and this person decided to stay in and play it out. Now look at how much damage these Dragon Breaths are adding up, and look at how much damage the Talonflame is not doing with all of those Incinerates. Now, I figure they've got to be throwing Brave Bird and dipping here. There's no way, right? No, opponent hits me with a Flame Charge, which means they're going to stay in and they're going to try and play this out. But Obstagoon comes in, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw an Outrage, because usually when an opponent swaps in like that, they expect an Noctizuka to try and get that debuff, but I'm going to be able to come in with my Vigoroth and take out this Obstagoon before it even gets to a charge move. And then I'm in perfect position to throw these Body Slams at this Talonflame, which is already missing half of its HP, to start threatening shields, which is what happens right here. Now, at this point, I think I'm okay to just let this go. I do decide to throw on CMP here because I figured they were going to try and throw a move. I'm going to let it go. You know what? It's fine with me. They throw a Flame Charge, I live. But instead, they go for Brave Bird, and that takes out my Vigoroth and then some. So Kingdra's going to come in and farm it all the way down. And that's it. And in the back, they've got a Vigoroth, and that's totally fine with me because I've got an Ariados and an Noctizuka, and I'm ready to go. So after I throw this Noctizuka, I will let them throw their Body Slam, and then I'll come in with my Ariados and just finish this game off. This, unfortunately, the Vigoroth really doesn't have any play here, especially now that I got a debuff. That's it. That's a good game, and that's why Kingdra's so darn strong. Is the Noctizuka debuff is so stupid good. Opponent is going to go ahead and probably shield this if they want to try and win the game, but at this point I don't think there's any way they can really do that. Cross Poison goes through, and the opponent just quakes at this point. So good game, well played, but just kind of hard countered up the up the wazoo there. So Kingdra into Stunfisk once again. I've started to try and play this one out a little bit in the lead to get Kingdra some energy in the long run here. So what I'll do is I'll actually farm up now with my Kingdra, let them get to a charge move, and then probably come in with my Vigoroth and just see if I can make some magic happen. So now my Kingdra has some energy for whatever comes next, and they also swap into Vigoroth into the mirror, which is a mistake. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is not a matchup that your Vigoroth should be swapping into, because if you do, you are guaranteed to lose switch because the opponent can just shield once and that's it. And now this is ideal because now once again I can keep my Ariados away from the ground type, which is mostly resisting its damage. Lunge does neutral damage, sure, but I like to make sure that I've got some play here. So I'm at a point where I can get to a Bulldoze now. I'm going to bait the shield from the Bulldoze, and at that point, it's all right. If I can get a shield here, which I do, thankfully, I will try and go for the Bulldoze if I can, but I feel like they're probably going to pull the trigger on their energy before I get there, so I'm just going to go for the Body Slam and get some chip damage in, which is really all I need at this point. And once the opponent throws a move, they kind of have to, because like Thunder Shock's not going to farm me down. They're going to leave with a little bit of extra energy, but Kingdra easily comes in here and just farms down, and then I'm just hoping that Ariados has play against whatever's in the back, which is going to be, hopefully, another Obstagoon, because I love seeing Obstagoons. They played Vigoroth in the back. There's a chance they could have been baiting out, maybe a Walrein. And speaking of Walrein, there's the Walrein. So gonna go for the Outrage once again, hoping that maybe I catch my opponent off guard. They save the shield, thinking it's just an Octazuka, but they do shield it. So now I come up with my Ariados, gotten their last shield, and I am going to be able to shield this first Icicle Spear here before they're going to be able to do too much, but I decide not to. I decide to save my shield, and the reason why is because I have a feeling that Stunfisk in the back has energy. But look at this. Do you see this? This was a CMP tie, supposedly. We both threw one fast move. And then with the charge move, but apparently my move did not register and it was not CMP. So that is a not great bug, and I really wish that Ariados is the superior bug here, by the way. Definitely the better bug when it comes to actual bugs in this game, but those kinds of glitches and bugs are unnecessary. They need to be fixed. They really do. I need to call them. Niantic needs to fix this stuff. They really do. But anyway, Stunfisk is going to come in, and they have to get the 2 charge moves in order to win this game, and they're not going to be able to do that before Ariados gets to the cross poison and takes out Stunfisk, and that is a good game. Very well played. Got a couple more for you here. So in comes the next game. I got 2 more, I believe, here. And Kingdra is going to be up against a Pidgeot. So obviously this is not ideal for me, but what I can do here is I can get to a move long before they do. An Octazooka all on its own is going to be enough to threaten a shield here, so I'm going to go for the Octazooka. And you know, Pidgeot, typically if it's going to throw a Feather Dance, it shields. No debuff though, unfortunate. But on the off chance they do throw the Brave Bird, that since they didn't get debuffed, I do have to shield, and I call it successfully, thankfully. That was a Brave Bird. Hey, here comes an Obstagoon. And you know what's going to happen to this Obstagoon? It's going to get lunged. And now my opponent threw 6 moves here, so I have a feeling this is an Obstruct. So I have absolutely no need to shield this. And it is Obstruct, which is the first time since the move came out that I was actually able to see it in action. So I'm going to throw on CMP here. The opponent is now going for Night Slash. Typically when you come in with your Obstagoon, you're going to go straight for the Obstruct and then start doling out Night Slashes. Now the thing is that you don't want to safe swap your Obstagoon, because even though Obstruct is a nice move, unless your opponent has no counter for Obstagoon at all, there's really no point in going for Obstruct, simply just because you're going to get hard countered and there's no point. Really, you want to use Obstagoon as a closer with Obstruct, I think, at least in my opinion. But opponent's going to come back in with the Pidgeot, and I'm going to be able to get off this poison, cross poison here, do some chip damage, and if they don't shield, I can come straight in with Vigoroth before they get to another move, snipe them down before they finish that Gust, and leave them with 1 Pokemon remaining. What do they have in the back? But a Vigoroth. And guess what, folks? Vigoroth and Vigoroth are going to have a duke out here, and my Vigoroth is ahead on energy, so that means I'm going to win, and I already know that. But even if I don't, for whatever reason, my Kingdra's got half health, so all I have to do is shield this next move from my opponent, farm down with King-dra, and if that would be it, that would be the game. And I might even do that if I didn't want to, but I know that I win this game, so it's fine. Opponent's going to throw their Body Slam with me on CMP. Kind of some weird visual stuff going on there. That's been happening a lot lately. Appreciate Niantic and Pokemon Company really doling out some of these fixes for us, but honestly, they really should test them a little bit better first, make sure everything runs smoothly. But that Kingdra comes in and farms down, as I was kind of expecting there, so good game, very well played. Now, once again, this is a person with a Legend pose. They hit Legend before I ever hit Legend, so this is not me sitting down in low elo, you know, bashing on people and playing people that are below my skill level. No, these are Legend players, and they are out there in the veteran range because this season has sucked and they're having a hard time climbing. So I'm hoping that this team is relevant for you. You're probably not watching, you know, team content, trying to get team ideas. If you're in the if you're in the Legend leaderboard range, you've probably already got your own team that you're playing and you're fine with. But this is for you. This content is for anyone who's trying to use a team to push, and my channel is still pretty small, so not a lot of people are going to get this information right off the bat. So you have some time to use this team before the end of Summer Cup, which is going to be in a couple days as far as I know. And then Fighting Cup comes around. That's going to be a fun cup. So Kingdra's going to come in and is going to be able to get the Dragon Breath damage in before that Galvantula is able to get a move up. I thought they were at a move there, but maybe not. So I'm going to stay in with my Obstagoon here, or stay in against their Obstagoon here with my Kingdra. I expect them to either be an Obstruct or a Night Slash, and it's the Night Slash. So I tank it, I swap out, and I leave Kingdra with the energy for later. And now my opponent comes in with a Venusaur, and at this point I know my Ariados is primed and ready to beat this entire team, because no one's playing for Ariados, let's be honest. Lunge is going to take out almost all of half of the health of this Venusaur, and I'm just going to go for Cross Poison, trying to get there before my opponent is going to be able to get to a move. The Venusaur is going to tank this Cross Poison and get farmed down afterwards. I don't even need to shield, but actually Cross Poison's enough. And the opponent just top lefts at this point. So that was a very good game regardless. Able to get a couple of 4-1 sets here. I did have to clip out the last game of this set. Had something come up that I just had to top left the last game. But in that first, that first nighttime game was of a different set. But either way, still solid team. Climbed over 100 points over the weekend with this team. Very solid team. And Kingdra is just dominating right now with all of the fire types and the rock throwers. It actually does very well because the Octazooka damage is actually something to be feared here in the Great League with all the rock and fire fire types running around. So that is going to do it for this video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to catch you in the next video, and even next week in Fighting Cup. Maybe even catch you in our Discord. Hopefully, we'll see if you know, up to you, obviously. Completely up to you. But thank you so much, guys. Catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.